Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you've been struggling with pen drawings, this video will show you simple, clean ink style that will keep your drawings from getting too messy and be ready for markers. I'll actually walk you through how I create bold, controlled lines with ink using brush pens, focusing on line weight instead of hatching only. It's a method that keeps your drawings really clean, really readable, and perfect for coloring with Copic markers, especially neutral grays. This is the same approach that I use when designing more stylized characters, including works for illustrations and graphic novels. You're going to learn how to fix really messy pen drawings, the ones that you start, they look good and they end up really overworked. You're going to learn how to control the line weight for clean results. You're going to learn why less detail can actually improve your art and how to prepare your inks for markers. So let's get started. All right, so the problem. A lot of people really, even including myself, can kind of struggle with pen drawings ending up looking either messy, too many scratchy hatch lines, a little bit overworked. There's not a lot of fluidity in your drawings. So a big reason is that, trying to do way too much, especially with hatching and or trying to render exactly like you see in mainstream comics. So this video, I'm going to be showing you a little bit more of a different approach. This style really focuses on clean lines, but not perfect lines. There's a lot of controlled line weight and there's a lot of bold shapes. It's a very stylistic approach, but very nice. For this drawing, I used black and white reference photo of a very historic looking pilot navigator that I saw. I found it, I thought it was perfect. And I chose it because it had a really strong shape, language, a really cool coat, goggles, very interesting. But instead of copying it exactly how I see it, I turned into something a little bit more stylized, a little bit more graphic. And this is a kind of approach that I use when designing illustration characters. Just a little bit more refined here in this one, okay? All right, so let's talk about materials real quick. I'm working on smooth Bristol paper, which is perfect for both ink and alcohol markers. Make sure it's about 240 and up GSM. For pens, I use Kuretake Bimoji medium tip and Kuretake Bimoji fine tip. Those are some amazing pens. You can get them anywhere. These are great because they give you more control than your standard brush pen, but they still allow you a very nice line weight, which just means you can go from thick to thin very easily with this pen. Then I also use the Pentel pocket brush pen for filling in the large black areas, which is a little bit more of a difficult pen to master, but it's great for adding lots of black area around your drawing. This pen is super smooth. It has replaceable ink cartridges, which make it really practical for using long term. The bristles don't really wear out. I've had mine for well over 2 years and with no signs of wear and tear, and I use it basically every day. So as far as markers, I'm using the Copic sketch markers with neutral grays, and which I'll be demonstrating in part 2 of this series. So stay tuned for that. But great pen, great markers, well worth the investment. All right, so step one, I started with a quick pencil sketch just to get the proportions and the composition down. We all know that is important. There's nothing super detailed, just enough to guide my inks. Here I'm focusing this video. I'm really focusing on the ink and the pens. If you overwork your pencil stage, it can actually make your ink feel a little stiff with this style. So keep it loose. All right. Step two, make sure that you have a good clean line strategy. Now, here's the key to fixing messy inks. Be intentional with every mark and every line that you make. And instead of sketching with your pen, try to place down each line with purpose. Use staggered lines instead of jagged, sketchy lines to draw. And when you come in to make a mark with your pen, think of a plane making a landing and then taking off again. Practice aiming at where the line will start and the direction you need to go. So exactly how do you do this? Well, it is literally as simple as taking 10 minutes to do warm-up strokes with your pen on a scratch sheet of paper in the directions that you need to make your marks. You're going to do this before you go into your final drawing. Your brain really needs time to match up with the coordination of your forearms and upper arms and your muscles. Everything needs to work together and fire at the same time. So I even go as far as to calm my breathing when I use pen and ink. I draw circles with line weight and I add texture with different directions, something that you should do all the time. And you can add in the cast shadows with different marks as well and play around with how you're rendering. And if you're about to render a person with ink, then try outlining, let's say, the arm or the face on a scratch sheet of paper first to get a feel for how you're going to do it on your final piece. Try out different body parts with different directions. As you're really warming up and you're focusing on line weight, use thicker lines on the outside edges and the areas where less light is indicated. Then use thinner lines on the inside or the body of the object where more light is indicated. I even use staggered lines as well to indicate light, and this instantly creates depth and clarity. It also helps your drawings read better from a distance, which is very important when you're depicting value and you're trying to depict value. Okay, so another huge tip is that you shouldn't draw everything you see. It's very hard, but sometimes less is more. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. Instead, simplify. Reduce things like wrinkles on a face to small indications of a wrinkle with minimal lines. Combine shapes to create value shapes and fill it in with your brush. Focus on big forms first and work your way to details last. This is going to really give your drawing a much cleaner, more stylized look. And it's really perfect if you plan to add markers later. The markers will show up a lot better with this type of rendering. All right, so step 4 is to use bold black shapes. Now, I go at this with the Pentel Pocket brush pen. I love that pen. It's very juicy, very liquidy. And this is what really helps me to get deep shadows, get the solid black areas down, and really strong accents in my piece. If you do this, then, remember, these bold shapes create contrast and make your drawing really pop. If your drawing feels flat, this step will fix that. So I see it all the time. Many young artists, they are afraid to use a lot of black ink. Don't be afraid. Use up as many ink cartridges as you can. It will dramatically improve your ink drawings. Okay, so let's finish by talking about why this style works so well with markers. Why should you adopt this? Why should you try it at least with some markers? Well, because we're not using heavy hatching where the values are depicted by all of the ink markings. The style is less involved than your standard comic style with loads of hatching and cross hatching and rendering in all sorts of ways, because the ink markings are spared for only the deepest values. The markers go down clean and smooth, and the markers will depict the rest of the values. There's no muddy texture when you do it this way. You just have clear shapes and tones. That's why I love pairing this with Copic markers, especially neutral grays, to really get in some of the nice looking values. So I want you guys to give it a try, experiment, make mistakes, add this to your daily practice, and don't be discouraged if it doesn't work out at first. Try again. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a little bit more about pen and ink. And one thing I always love to mention is my personal belief that drawing and creating is really one of the coolest ways that we can honor God, who is the one who actually gifted us with the ability to do this in the first place. So keep on creating. And if this video helped you, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe for many more videos like this to come, and drop a comment below with any questions that you might have. My mission is to give you all the most value for the time that you're taking out of your day to watch these videos. So thank you so much for watching. God bless you, keep creating, and I'll see you in the next video. And don't forget to check out some of the other art tutorials either here or here. All right, God bless you. Bye.